am
My name's
Chris.
Trey.
Sam.
I'm Trey.
So I went to college with a girl named Lauren. She actually ended up dropping out of college because college was just not her thing. And then she moved across country to LA, where she now works with a big company doing marketing campaigns without a college degree. She earned that through certifications, which is quite odd because it's not very common because people don't speak enough about it. Think about your kids, your future kids, or maybe even yourself. Do you really want to be spending the rest of your life paying off student loans when you're also paying off a bunch of other loans? No, I don't think so. It's ironic that I would be giving this speech about why I believe a college degree is not worth it in today's society, but here I am, and it's also a lot more than what you think. There's also other ways to obtain college degrees by a lot cheaper, and there's other options to get jobs without a college degree. I do not believe that college degrees are worth it in today's society because of the national student debt, the fact that jobs don't even require college degrees anymore, a lot of them don't, and the fact that just because a student has a degree does not necessarily mean that they're required to do what the job needs them to do. So let's talk about the national student debt. Student loans are made up about 34% of non-housing debt in the year of 2022, which is quite crazy because it's in the same category as credit card loans and car payments, which is weird to think that they would be in the same category, but here we are. In 2022, the average student loan debt was about $37,000, which I believe is absolutely absurd. So according to whatever state you live in could also determine the amount of student loans that you have. New Hampshire had the most amount of student debt with about $39,000, while Utah had the least amount of student debt with about $18,000. So federal student loans accounted for about 92% of national student debt, while private student loans accounted for about 8% of student debt. Private universities are a lot more expensive than public universities because they rely solely on tuition. Private universities are about $38,000, while public universities are about $10,000. So now that we have talked about national student debt, let's talk about how jobs don't even require degrees anymore. So in 2020, actually, college enrollments have decreased by 7%. COVID had a major play in this. About 700,000 job openings with no college degree requirements opened up because of COVID that actually pay more than $36,000 yearly. Between the years of 2017 and 2019, jobs requiring a college degree dropped by 5%. This was before COVID, so we cannot really blame COVID for that one, but we can thank COVID, sadly, for the 700,000 job openings. So the Social Finance Nonprofit is a nonprofit organization that works with grant makers to develop funding for high impact projects. It helps people without a degree obtain skills for jobs, meaning that people who do not have the funds or ability to gain a college degree and now have the option to obtain skills for the jobs that they desire. Google actually created a $100 million partnership to help over 20,000 workers obtain IT certifications to work with Google. Khalid Hamadi was a Penn State University dropout. He actually dropped out in the year of 2016 because he did not have the financial stability to support his family or himself. He thought he was hopeless because he had no college degree, so he believed that he could not obtain a job. Until the Merit of America provided him with a 13-week course to earn a Google certification. His first job was actually making over $45,000 yearly, which is on average pretty decent for someone who does not have a college degree. The best types of jobs that don't require a college degree are jobs involving tech, logistics, construction, marketing, landscape, and design. Las Vegas was actually ranked the top city for hiring people without a degree. Trade schools are a great alternative for getting knowledge about a job. They're offered throughout high school an average total cost of about $5,000 to $15,000, depending on whatever job you are training in. I personally wish that I was pushed more towards trade school in high school. they don't really speak about it much, and I feel like that is a little strange and it should be spoken about more. So we've talked about the national student debt, and we've also discussed how jobs are not even really requiring college degrees anymore. Now let's talk about how degrees do not mean that students have the job knowledge. 57% of Americans say that the higher education system fails to provide students with good value. People also do not apply for a job because they are qualified in because they do not have a degree. They feel as if because the job itself states that it requires a college degree, they cannot apply for that job because they're uncertified, even if they have every capable skill. So now let's talk about what makes a college degree worth it. So according to studies, students with college degrees make more than people without college degrees, which in most cases this is true. However, recent studies have shown that individuals who get certifications and attend trade schools can make just as much or more than people with degrees. For example, I'm currently active duty military and I'm getting paid to go to school. It's not very common, and I feel like a lot of more jobs should be able to do this because we're already working, so why not get paid to get an education? So in conclusion, I personally believe that college degrees are not worth it in today's society because of the student loan debt, the fact that a lot of jobs do not require degrees anymore. It's very common for a job to not require a degree anymore based on your common skills. Also, degrees do not promise job knowledge. Just because you have a degree does not necessarily mean that you know exactly how to perform a job. I personally advise students to think about other options before deciding to attend college. Think about trade school, think about volunteering, think about everything else that you could possibly be doing before you put yourself in $1,000 of debt. Does anyone have any feedback?